Today's episode is sponsored by Pure Bulk. WJ Live starts right now. Hi, this is your host, Olivia Brown with the Western Journal. Today we are in Tucson at the Republican National Committee's Hispanic Community Center office opening. We have Juan Ciscomani, and he is running for the 6th Congressional District in Arizona. What are you seeing from Hispanic voters in this area? Because I just looked at the statistics this morning. They're actually the majority demographic here. What are you seeing from all those voters with the people that you're talking to?
Well, the Hispanic community is definitely the fastest growing community in southern Arizona for sure, and in the state as well. So it's smart for anyone to want the Hispanic business and also the Hispanic engagement in voting and in the primary and elections and in general elections as well. I'm seeing that change dramatically this year, and it's a combination of the outreach from the Republican Party, but also the Hispanics feeling left behind and alone from the far extreme policies of some on the left that they just don't sign up for. And this is a great opportunity to welcome the Hispanic community into the Republican Party.
The Hispanic communities in the Rio Grande Valley in South Texas are overwhelmingly voting for Republicans now as opposed to in the past. They're seeing lawlessness at the border, lawlessness in their cities. People want security. People want border security. They want their community safe, and the Republican Party will deliver that.
The Democrats want to separate Hispanics from family. They want to separate Hispanics from God, from the faith.
But you've seen the national headlines. Hispanics are breaking away from the Democrat Party. They're coming over to the Republican Party, and we say welcome. You know, Hispanic families that I talk to, they're super concerned about everything that's going on. They're paying attention, right? They don't like Joe Biden's open border. They know more than anyone that you don't have a country if you're not controlling who's coming in and who's not allowed to come in, right? They don't like massive inflation. They want energy independence and low gas prices. You know, this stuff is common sense, and you know what they really don't like? 87,000 new IRS agents. That's what Mark Kelly and Joe Biden have thrust upon us in the middle of a recession, right? No, people are dying because of what Joe Biden has done at the border. And Mark Kelly, of course, as a swing state senator, as a border state senator, he could have single-handedly ended this border crisis, and he refused to do it. And now, just yesterday, I saw drug cartels, right? Biden has completely ceded the southern border to these narco-terrorist organizations, and they are making fentanyl pills now in the shape and color of candy. A few weeks before Halloween, these cartels are coming after our kids, and Biden and Mark Kelly, they apparently don't care because they're not doing a darn thing to stop it. So when I talk to Hispanic families, whether they're first generations or new to this country or whether they've been here for 5 or 6 generations, they know as much as anyone that unchecked illegal immigration is crazy, it's criminal, and it's killing Arizonans. Right? Issue number 2, our schools are failing. Now, a lot of this is a local and state issue, as it ought to be, but of course the federal government is messing with our schools, and I think Hispanic voters more than anyone else are just pissed off about this. You know, some of the best schools, public schools in the state are in Santa Cruz County, which are some of the least well-funded, and it's because Hispanic families actually demand performance from their schools, reading, writing, and arithmetic, right? The problem with our schools, half of it, is just the failure of the basics. We're not teaching our kids to do basic mathematics, to learn anything true about the history of their country. Well, when you fail to teach the basics, right, something comes in and fills the void, and we've seen what that is. It's toxic left-wing ideology, critical race theory, gender ideology, right? And again, I think a lot of people in Arizona are pissed off about this, but it's these Latino families. You tell me, right? You don't have time for gender pronouns. Like, what the hell are we doing? Right?
I agree with you. Like, that's why I'm shaking my head.
Latinx, like, I'm sorry, but and it's white liberals like Mark Kelly who push this stuff, right? And they pretend to speak for all of us, and of course they don't. And so we have to fix the schools, and of course we have to talk about the Joe Biden economy. The Joe Biden economy is it's devastating Hispanic communities. It's devastating all of Arizona. It's devastating the whole country. Right? I knew it was going to be bad when day one, Biden starts canceling pipelines. He basically took our energy independence and threw it away, which is just insane. And now everybody is paying more at the grocery store, at the gas pump. The gas at the gas pump doesn't care what color you are. It doesn't care if you're Hispanic or if you're not. It just, the gas is too expensive. And it's not Putin, it's not Trump, it's Joe Biden who caused that. It's Mark Kelly who enabled that. And it's devastating our communities. Now, the cherry on top, of course, was this Inflation Reduction Act, so-called. How Orwellian is that? Inflation Reduction Act is a tax and spend bill. The Democrats decided it would be a good idea to raise taxes on the middle class in the middle of a recession. That just kills small businesses. It kills medium-sized businesses. And now they want to hire 87,000 new IRS agents. And I'm telling you, when I speak to Hispanics in Arizona about the 87,000 new IRS agents, I hear I learned some new words in Spanish. I'll tell you that much. Okay, so everybody knows we're on the wrong track, and it's centers like this that are going to really help us engage a whole new voter base. I think the Republican Party is growing.
We, the Republican Party, have been talking about the values instead of trying to divide people and putting them into their little boxes. Hispanics, like Americans, we care about God. We care about our family. We care about our children's education. We care about roads. We care about jobs and inflation. And when the Hispanic community starts really listening to people who are going to talk to their message, just straight out. That's why Trump did so well. Trump said, this is what I'm going to do. If you agree, great. If you don't, tell me. And you know what? The Hispanic community really responded to that. And that's why they're beginning to start to look at the Republican Party in a different light.
These are three of my kids. This is Lily, this is Kenny, and this is Zoe. And this is 50% of them. We have three others that are not here with us today. They're at home with Laura. But this is what it's all about. I like to, as much as possible, bring my family to these events because this is why we're doing it. This is why we are battling. This is why we do what we do. But it's not particular to my family. I think this is true for all families. We want to make sure that our kids, our grandkids, are in a better position than what we were and where we are today. So as it was mentioned, I'm Juan Ciscomani. I'm a first-generation American. My family came from Hermosillo, Sonora. And my parents came here and established themselves in Tucson. My dad has been working for SunTrans since I can remember. He's a bus driver there, and I am so proud of him because he came to this country, immersed himself in the culture, learned English, became U.S. citizens as a family, and like he asked me, I can drive a bus my entire life, and my son has a shot at becoming a member of the United States Congress? Yes. Where else in the world could we have our story? And the answer is nowhere else. The fact is that I'm living the American dream. I'm living the American dream not based on wealth or based on any kind of financial measurement, but based on opportunity, which is exactly what my parents were pursuing when they moved the family here to Tucson. A better life and a better job, a better education for the kids, safer streets. And these are all the things that attracted my parents to come here. But isn't that what we all want for our families? That's exactly what we all want. No matter if you've been here from one generation or 10 generations, we are here for our kids.
We have three candidates that ran as write-ins, and all three made the ballot. And we're excited about taking what used to be a Democrat LD and make it a Republican one.
So you're interested in flipping it from Republican to Democrat?
Oh, absolutely. Santa Cruz County is labeled as the highest concentration of Hispanics in the state of Arizona. We're 89.6%. And what's really been remarkable since I become chairman in the last 2 years is that I haven't got the actual figure, but I think 70 to 80% of my PCs are Hispanic. And they're very excited about spreading the word. These people are, for the most part, Catholic, and they hold our values. They just don't understand that there's a difference between the Republican platform and the Democrat platform. If you go into Mamacita's home, you'll see a picture of the Virgin Mary, the cross, and RFK on the wall. Well, it's no longer RFK's party. And they're starting to understand that the Republican Party, is the conservative party, holds their values and not the Democrat Party. So we got 800 new Republicans in Santa Cruz County and gained 6 new PC seats. I think people are starting to see the message. I think the people of Santa Cruz are starting to see the message. A great number of the registered voters in Santa Cruz are independents, no party determined. In rough figures, there's 5,000 Republicans, there's 1,400 Democrats, there's 10,000 no party determined independents. And we feel strongly that the no party determined section, the 10,000 votes, will probably swing our way. And that's why we think we're going to probably swing LD 21 into a red. That, and because of the way they split things up, 2 of the 3 incumbents that were in LD, what used to be LD2, are no longer in our LD. So we're running against brand new people in the Democrat Party. And we feel we have a great chance for success down there.
What issues are you finding that Hispanic voters care most about in your county?
Well, that's a really good question. The border is one because, believe it or not, the Hispanics who live in the United States side are not interested in seeing all these people come through and take away their schools, their hospital services, their social services, as it were. So that's an issue. The other issue is the schools and the quality of schools that we have down there. What I find with the Hispanic population in Santa Cruz County is that family is number one. So we try to talk about politics on a real personal basis down there. It's about family, it's about individuals, it's about who we are, not so much about what the issues are. In fact, many people who run down there will say, you can't get any of these people to talk about issues. But what they want to do is find out who you are and what your values are and how you see family and how you see God. And we're all very strong on that down there. And that's why I'm so happy with the amount of Hispanic people that have come over to the Republican side, because they're able to not only talk about that in Espanol, which I cannot do. I'm just old gringo from Montana. I let them run the show. So I think we're starting to see a lot of success in that direction.
Well, of course, the economy, making sure that the economy is strong, that they're able to work hard and prosper, that the government isn't intervening and taking away the fruits of their labor, making sure that education is actually teaching their children, not indoctrinating them, and law and order, making sure that when you ask about border issues, they want a secure border, just like the rest of America, except for Joe Biden and his cronies. Those things resonate with the Hispanic community and communities as a whole. But more importantly, we have to get these Republicans into office, from the U.S. Senate to the governor, all the way down to school board, so that we can put Republican policies in place and get them into action to help all people. And it looks great. The outlook to be able to elect each and every one of these candidates is wonderful.
What are the implications if we don't get out the vote for Republicans, and how will that look not just on a state level, but a federal level, and maybe even thinking towards 2024?
Yes, there should be a massive red wave in November of 2022. That is for certain. But people cannot get complacent. They cannot stay home. They cannot just say, oh, it's a done deal. We're winning and we're winning everything. They've got to work. You've got to knock on doors. You've got to make phone calls. You've got to talk to your friends. You've got to talk to people at church, at the grocery store. Talk to strangers. Tell them why it's so important. Tell them who drove their gas prices up, who made it unaffordable to have housing, why there's no baby formula available, why groceries are so much more than they were just 2 short years ago, and let them know that Republicans in office can help to fix those things. So if we do not, I don't know how long this country can survive under this kind of Democrat tyranny that we are experiencing right now in everything from the economy to our health care, to our education system, to energy, and beyond. We've got to save the country, and that means vote Republican.
The Hispanic population really, their morals and their values really align very well with the Republican Party. And so, the Democrats have taken the Hispanic vote for so many years, just taking it for granted. And now we're seeing a lot of the Hispanics that are coming back to the Republican side because they understand that the Republicans are about jobs and job creation and lower taxes. And so we're seeing that the Hispanics come back over. So this is a big deal for the old Pueblo.
So the Corporation Commission is a very important race. Can you explain what it is? Because a lot of people really don't know or understand.
Yeah, by and large, we regulate utilities in Arizona. So we have a lot of ancillary functions like we regulate securities, fraud, things of that nature, railroad and pipeline safety, incorporation of businesses. But the largest chunk of what we do is regulate utilities. So we provide solid infrastructure that ultimately creates jobs and boosts the economy and things of that nature. So it's our job to make sure that we maintain a reliable and resilient utility grid infrastructure.
What are you seeing with Hispanic voters?
They want to be engaged. They are ready to stick up for their families and their neighborhoods. A lot of concerns about what's going on in our country and in the state of Arizona, especially the border states. Some of the key issues that are really affecting the Hispanics, where they're seeing that the Republicans are stepping it up for them, is crime. Crime is just horrific. And it's not just in the big cities, it's in the rural areas, the urban areas, all over. And yes, the economy, obviously. A lot of Hispanics are multi-family homes. They have grandma there, the parents, the kids and the grandkids. And when you have one household that is supporting so many people, the economy it's detrimental. I know that people are spending less on gas, less on groceries, and less on school kids' clothes. But the economy is a big issue, and a lot of people don't understand. Another concern of ours as Hispanics is the border issue. It's not just Hispanics, Mexicans, South Americans coming across the border. It's over, I think, close to 140 different countries that are making an impact coming over and invading our country. A lot of people don't want to say that it's an invasion, but it literally is. I mean, we've got the drug issue, we've got the sex trafficking issue, the crime issue. Here again, those are important to Hispanics and all Americans, all of the people who live here in Arizona.
It is super important right now because if they realize their values and who actually is supporting their values, they'll open up their eyes and they'll understand. And that's why we're here, because we thought we were alone in Santa Cruz County, and thank God for our chair and Deborah, his wife, and our new candidates. But it's just super important because we've got to get the message, the facts out.
Jesus, what candidates are you most excited for to vote in November?
We have several very good candidates. Luis Pozzolo is one of our favorites. Deborah McEwen is also a write-in candidate, and she made it to the ballot. Jim Cleveland from over in the Bisbee area, also reflecting our values. And Kennedy, Damian Kennedy is up in the north part of us. All three of them are people who know our values, know what we want to get accomplished, know what truths we want the people to learn before they vote. We can't say enough about the efforts that these people have put forward to make it to the ballot. It's hard to get on as a write-in ballot, especially in such a large LD and such a spread out LD.
And it's finally now that we actually have our candidates that are going to do our work, we the people, our voices. In Santa Cruz County, it seemed like there was never anybody to speak for us, and now that's what we're fighting for. We're not fighting for in a peaceful way. Rule of law, we love this country, God and country, and it's helping, it's working. Thank you, God.
What issues are most important to you when voting for a candidate, and what issues are you seeing that your neighbors care about as well?
It seems the biggest is the economy and also safety, the border. It's super important. The majority of us that we believe in rule of law. A lot of people immigrated, they went step by step by law, and then now, I mean, poor people, the poor illegals are being used. So they're allowing them in, and it's like, wait a minute, first America, we take care, and then we love other people, and we'll take care of them, but we got to take care of ourselves first. So those are my two issues.
I would agree that the economy is one of the biggest reasons. You go down to Nogales and Douglas, even across the border, Agua Prieta and Nogales, Sonora, you see all these businesses that are closed. The customers don't come down because of security, because of the restrictions on crossing the border. The joblessness in Santa Cruz County is awful. Just a little ways from the border, less than an hour from the border, joblessness is not an issue. All of our young people are leaving the border because there's no opportunity for them there, so the economy has to come back. And at the same time, security will come back. That's what we got to look forward to. That's what we've got to push. And that's why we're voting for these candidates.
Pure Bulk has a variety of healthy supplements that can help push you through your workout or your work week. Go to purebulk.com and enter code WJLive to get a 15% discount on your entire order. Democrats are behind the times for assuming that the Hispanic vote is going to go to them. Even people on Twitter, such as Allison, is saying, why isn't the DNC putting the same level investment as the Republicans are? They say, when will we see investment by the DNC in southern Arizona? It is wrong to assume Hispanics will vote blue. Don't take us for granted. And she shouts out Raquel Teran, who is the chairwoman of the Democrat Party, for saying you need to put the same level of investment as the Republican Party is. It is very important to be looking at these polls and the historic shift that we have been seeing from the Hispanics going from the Democrat Party to the Republican Party. When speaking to our candidates, I mentioned this poll in which the Democrats were up plus 38, and now in 2022, they are plus 13. This is the reason that Hispanics are moving towards Republicans. Just like everything they just said, crime, the border, all of these reasons, this is the numbers that shows it. There's another poll that also just came out that shows that here we can see that Black and Hispanic voters who identify as liberal declined by double digits since 2017. That is amazing to see the turnout and how people's views are really shifting through all of this. And since we've been talking about all the midterms and how important they are, Fox News just dropped their forecast on how they think that the election is going to turn out. And really, I think that a lot of this will come to pass. We spoke to Blake Masters, and you can see here one of his races is a toss-up. It is the very top there, the Arizona Kelly. It is Kelly versus Masters. So you'll see that there are 5 toss-ups, and we have 15 solid R's, 2 likely R's, 3 lean R's, 9 solid D-Dems, and 1 lean Dem. The most important ones that we need to be looking at are the toss-ups, and these are now more and more interesting to see that Florida had historically been in the toss-up range, but now we're seeing it's Georgia, Nevada, Arizona, Pennsylvania. And these are going to be very, very critical elections, and the Hispanic vote is going to be so important in them. We can also see the governor's race, how that is going to play out. We're seeing here that that is a toss-up as well. And it's so, I love looking at these graphs to be able to see the colors of how people are across the state leaning. And the control that we're going to see going forward in the rankings is that there is going to be a majority of 218. There's 28 toss-ups, and there's 187 Democrats and 222 Republicans. So in the House, those are people like Juan Ciscomoni, who are hopefully going to come on top. They are going to help push the Republicans to the top and make sure that we do have a successful turnout. Thanks for joining us. This episode has been sponsored by Pure Bulk. Make sure that you go to their website to get 15% off.